I'd like to start this next move tutorial with the words from one of the philosophers of our times who I think will go down in history as one of the greatest thinkers. And that's Matthew McConaughey, because we've mastered the basis and now we get to start working on the showtime, the flashy stuff. So congratulations. All right, all right, all right. We're going to learn what's called a palm spin. And this obviously is just purely for show. And this is a great move because sometimes if you get jammed into a small face for a show, or they put you up on a go-go box, or you're just standing at like the street corner and a kid's like, oh, you're a Jedi? Show me something. And you go, what? That's just instant street cred. Let's learn this. Let's rock this out. And also, this is a really great move for learning how to rocket yourself forward. So the first thing, obviously, is to find your base. What's the single smartest thing we could do? Yeah, remove the bonky variable. So what we're going to do here is you're going to take your dominant hand. We'll use the right one because it's the right one. And you're going to put it on your left hip like you're putting away a samurai sword. And make sure you can see your fingernails. The Vampirus is probably going to try to kick in here. So if you can't see your fingernails, the Vampirus has your hand flipped and the move doesn't work like this. So what I want you to do is go here to here. And that's it. Right here. Just a couple inches above your head and about here. Do this over and over and over again. And I want you to be really mindful about making sure that your hand is perfectly flat. Actually, for those of you in Los Angeles, for those of you who are actors, this one's going to be really easy because the motion is a lot like carrying a tray of food. I'm sorry, that was a cheap shot. I spent my time in catering. I'm sorry. It's just really funny to me. So here, and open it up to that tray. Open it up to the tray. Hey, what's up, Trey? My friend Trey from North Hollywood has got this system. I think you're in Texas now. What's up, dude? So open it up, tray. All right, so now that we've got that, we're ready to bring in the staff. And so with this move, what's going to happen the first time that you do that? What's going to come up in your mind? Yeah, you're going to worry about hitting yourself, because not only are we taking the weapon and putting it above our head, we're letting go of it. This is a contact move. Contact is all the stuff where you let go and use centrifugal force to move the tool around. And so with contact moves, you don't have the control that you do on the handheld moves. And so knowing that these fear programs are going to come up, we need to be very mindful about how we learn these moves so that we can get them quickly and efficiently. And so the best thing to do here is to practice taking the staff up perfectly flat. And the reason why is because it's a math problem. The staff is a line. It's basically a two-dimensional object. And if I take it up perfectly flat, it's a lot easier to get it to spin. Like if I take it up at an angle, that's really hard. You're going against gravity and you have to do all this extra math. Like, I'm a pro, and that's taking everything that I got just to get two spins out of it. So practice taking the staff up perfectly parallel with the ground. And so here's a good visualization. Imagine that there's a marble on the staff, and you don't want the marble to fall off. You don't want to lose your marbles because there's only so many jobs in Congress. Too soon? So you want to go here, here. And practice doing that to where it's perfectly flat. Ready to move on? So now we're ready to go in and let go. Obviously the fear program is going to come up. And here's the thing. This is not an irrational fear. This is a very valid fear. Quick nonlinear moment. There are two kinds of fear. There's irrational, unfounded fear, which is like the fear of speaking in public or the fear of being in the forest. And then there's the rational fear, which is caution, which is like, hey, don't stand in front of that train, or hey, don't go kick that gangster in the butt for the fun of it. Those are good fears. Those are caution. And this is actually a point where caution is a good idea, because this part of the staff is not so padded, and it will hurt if you hit yourself in the head with it. So, you know how we can protect our computers by putting up a firewall? You can do the same thing with this hand. It's not doing anything anyway. So if you take your left hand or your non-dominant hand and you put it right here against your collarbone, you now have a shield. You are protecting the sensitive part. And so what happens is that if you should lose the staff, this hand is here to protect you. And what that does is it shuts down all the browser windows on the Fear program. Also, another nonlinear, realize that if you really want to shut down the Fear program and allot all available resources to the learning process, get a helmet. Yeah, if your head is completely encased, you're not worried about taking a hit, and so you can practice this kind of stuff all day long without taking any of the blunt trauma. And those people who say, oh, that's necessary, that's part of the process, you're not a warrior unless you take the hits. Well, you're not a stupid warrior, because there's no point in hitting yourself. That's just ridiculous. And we're not trying to teach you how to be the most deadly warrior. We're trying to teach you how to be the best person possibly. And frankly, I don't see any application for hitting yourself in the head with a stick. I don't see where that's going to benefit you or the world in any way. So why do it? Case in point, I used to hang out with some pretty well-trained Kung Fu people. And they used to laugh at me when I put on the helmet to learn moves. And they'd go, ah, you look stupid. And I was like, hey, do this. And they're like, I can't. And I was like, right. The reason why you can't is because you're too cool to put on the helmet, so you'll never get that cool move. So realize that no one's watching. And if they are, and they give you stuff for wearing a helmet, it's because they don't have enough in here to warrant wearing a helmet, okay? That's one of those 1.0 mindsets that's just, again, with the snowboarding world, people used to make fun of the dudes wearing a helmet, and it's like, if I have to explain to you why you want to wear a helmet when attempting 40-foot double backflips off cliffs, then I'm probably not going to be able to. Okay, moving on. So we have our firewall, we'll call it fire palm. We probably won't, but moving on. We're going to take the staff up perfectly flat again, just to get a feel for that. And then when you feel ready to let go, just let go. And just try to do one spin. Try to do a 180. Try to do a 1080. Try to do whatever you want to do. But it might be smart just to do it one time, just to give yourself the feeling of doing it. What may happen here is that you might find that your fingers, and especially your thumb, might be coming up to try to block it. And that's the vampirus trying to get your thumb up there to keep you from doing this move, because this is another one of those moves that I love because it makes you feel like a master. And here's another key code. What happens quite often in the real estate space classes is that people do this. Here, I'm going to get shorter for a second. People do this because they're afraid of the staff, and so they do this. And what happens when you do that is that it's much harder to keep your hand perfectly flat. So what you've done is you've created an on-ramp that goes directly to the back of your head and given it gravity so that it hurts. The funny thing about this move is that the safest place is right here. And the reason why is because you can see what's happening. And remember, your eyes are amazing. 576 megapixel resolution. And so if you're laser locked onto this center mark, which is why it's so shiny and easy to find, is that if you're watching what's happening up there, then your eyes can see what's going on. and tell your brain, hey, we need to make this micro adjustment with the hand, because there's all kinds of little things that are happening there to keep it on point. And so often with these moves, if you keep your eyes on the staff, you'll get it so much faster and better. So basically, keep your eyes on the problem. Nope, no life lessons there. Don't try to find them. So again, you're going to come up to here. Also, another key code on this move is you can generate a ton of the horizontal torque that you need to spin. It can come from the waist. And one of the things that's really awesome about this move is that if you hit it right, you can freeze your lower body and have the staff be doing this full range of motion, which is a cool juxtaposition. Okay, that's the palm spin, also called the flat spin. Also, it can be whatever we want it to be spin. So I think that about covers it for that move, and we'll see you on the next one. And by the way, this is the next one. I love this move. It's called the Steve because a guy named Mushy P. Steve invented it, and it needs to stay the Steve because that guy needs to be honored, because this move, basically, it's just the flow. And so as you feel yourself doing it, you actually unlock what it feels like to flow, and then you can apply and transfer that feeling into all your other staff spinning and pretty much all your other movements in life. And so I can't wait for you to get that one. We'll build that out soon. Thank you so much, guys. Have fun, and remember, drill the foundational moves until they're perfect, because it's everything that you need is in those foundational moves. And what happens is that this is super fun, and so sometimes you'll spend all of your 2 hours of practice time doing that one move, and then this stuff starts to suffer. So congratulations, folks. You have now officially completed Kung Flow 101, and the system is hopefully in place and up and running, and now we can start unlocking some of the bigger, flashier moves, and that's really fun. So thanks for your time, guys. I'm losing the light, so I'll see you on another night. Bye-bye.